Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. The alignment is aligned for the Cleveland Browns, and as expected, Alonzo-Highsmith and Eliot-Wolf are now gone. That means despite the attempt to merge the new guys with the old, Jimmy-Haslam pretty much gets his way along with Paul-depodesta. No matter what the brain trust sold Kevin-Stefanski about on the job and who's going to be responsible for major decisions, it looks like everything is status quo in Berea. That may not be a good sign. Dennis-Manoloff is a good sign. We've got him tonight. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-man, Dennis-Manoloff, is here, and we're just checking out some of the videos out there in the world. I mentioned Highsmith no longer with the Browns and Eliot-Wolf no longer with the Cleveland Browns. And you had a doozy on that you were checking in on.
Yeah, I was checking the stories on Wolf on Pro Football Talk. And I happened onto a video with Mike Florio talking to Chris Sims. And Sims is like, Stefanski's the wrong guy. He's a bad hire. So, I mean, everywhere you look, the Browns are getting hit. I laugh because, Les, if you don't laugh, you cry about this. Every day, there's something crazy going on in Berea.
You know,
it seems.
You can't change things too much. If you got a guy's resume and what he's done, what he hasn't done, if you apply that same logic to Jimmy-Haslam, what do you have here? Other than Stepien-like
Can't
attitude?
fire the owner. Here's the problem, Les. You know, you have the diehards, or you have the I don't know. It's impossible to say this.
The sycophants.
Haslam. There you go. The Haslam supporters. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. I mentioned last night when Kenny Rhoda and I taped our most recent episode of the Next Man Up podcast. I actually said to Kenny, "Hey, what about Wolf and Highsmith?" Because we didn't know at the time.
Right.
You know, as of midnight last night. I said, "Well, where do they fit in all this?" I said, "I find it kind of odd that they would stick around, but if they do, at least there'll be that football mind, you know."
Yeah, but
involved.
A direct route to John Dorsey.
Yeah, but now, if you believe what Chris Mortensen said, and I have no reason to doubt him, he's a great reporter, he said they wanted to keep Wolf,
right,
as opposed to necessarily Highsmith. But Wolf they wanted to keep. Couldn't reach an agreement on it. Well, you couple that with the fact that you thought they wanted George Payton as GM, right? So, I mean, even though they may say, "Oh, no, we had Andrew Berry in line all along." Really? Because you interviewed Payton twice, and he said no. So what does that tell you? If George Payton and Eliot-Wolf say no thanks to the Browns, one of whom was there already, the other one was supposedly going to come in, what do you got over there?
Well, the Payton thing seems obvious to me, and it's not that unusual that he had two interviews. If you're going to uproot your life and move, 2,000 miles away, I think you owe some time to the interview on both sides. But it seems to me that Jimmy-Haslam, despite his protestations, his protesting in the past, that he's learned, he's got more patience. Turns out he doesn't.
I mean, what are you going to do now? And I guess, again, Andrew Berry has a football background as a player. He's got lineage under guys like Bill Polian. So he's not just a numbers cruncher in the corner.
He's 32 years
of
old.
The room. But he's extremely green. And this is his first crack at GM. And you've got this Stefanski, never been a head coach. DePodesta, never been anything notable on an NFL tree as a full-time employee in an NFL building. And now Berry, never been a GM. Meanwhile, guys who could potentially support you on the football side don't seem to be available or are leaving.
Right.
So now, where does that leave you?
Well,
I don't
we
get
kept
it.
hearing from Haslam about alignment.
Yeah.
Or realignment or whatever. And they were going to let Stefanski be involved in the pick of the GM. Everybody's going to have a shot at it. Well, it seems to me when they lost out on their first choice, which he assumed was the first choice for GM, when they lost out on that, that's almost like Haslam says to Stefanski, "All right, that was your choice. Now it's our turn." Almost like musical chairs here. Do you get that? Do you get that sense at all?
Yes, and we also had the news that Ron Wolf, the legendary Packers boss for so many years, he of course jumped to his son's defense after Elliott parted ways with the Browns. They agreed to part ways, whatever term is used, and Elliott said, "Hey, this is."
Ron said it.
Oh, excuse me, Ron. It said that his quote, one of his quotes was, "Analytics is out of control," and he was saying, if you lose and you're all in on analytics, who do you blame? You say, well, nobody's to blame. The data was off.
Right. You can always blame the data. All right. So let me ask you this, just on a people-person basis.
Yes.
I'd have to research it, but just at first thought, that Paul-Depodesta is in a position where he is the least popular front office guy in any sport we've had in a long, long time. Agree or disagree?
How do I argue with that, Les? I mean, that's a fascinating point you just made. I hadn't really thought of it that way. Yeah, I'd like to know how many players Paul-Depodesta has sat down with and spoken to over the year, in his time in the NFL. How many times?
I think we'd all agree he talked to more baseball people than he did football people.
Well, I just wonder about football.
Okay.
How many football players has he sat with and just had a lunch with or a conversation with about life and about what it's like to be a football player?
I have no idea.
I would imagine it's a finite number.
And not very big finite number.
Right. So,
I mean, how many football players are coming through La Jolla these days?
Come through what?
La Jolla, California, where he's outposted.
Yeah, maybe he emails them all.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that could be.
But you've got Stefanski, who obviously came from, the Vikings and had an important job as an OC. But something I want to, and I guess the Chris Sims thing is still ringing in my head, even though I heard it. I heard it 5 minutes ago, right before we went on the air. 10 minutes ago. Stefanski, don't forget. Early in the Vikings 2019 season, there was a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
And people were wondering about Zimmer and the play calling
and here comes Gary
and
Kubiak.
Cousins and all this other stuff. Well, Stefanski was in the middle of that. Now, he was largely, ignored or overlooked because they were focusing on Zimmer.
Right.
But
I know there are only 32 jobs, coaching jobs. I understand it, and sometimes if it's offered, it may not be the greatest opportunity, but it's one you can't walk away from. But if Stefanski doesn't take this one, who knows when the next one comes along, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, do you think he's got buyer's remorse already? We're a week into it.
He would never admit that. He's going to say everything's fine. They're going to do
they
that.
have to. Yeah, that's
they're
what
going to project that. Hey, it's all good. We anticipated that. John Dorsey's holdovers wouldn't necessarily want to stay or get redefined roles, but you can't help but be cynical when you see and hear what's happening in Berea.
All right,
Sorry,
I don't think there's that much of a scam here, but Frank from Akron says, by not holding the introductory press conference for Andrew Berry, are the Browns avoiding him answering questions about the 1-36 record that he had when he was here before?
1-31.
Well, he's got it as 1-36. He probably gave him the third of a year of the other year. It says it's obvious to me. It's not that obvious to me. You can't hide them. By the way, today is Wednesday. Friday is Hugh Jackson Day. It's 1/31 on the calendar. 216.
You kid because you care.
216-575-0403. Yeah, but not as much as I used to. This is hard to root for. We've seen this. We've seen this movie before.
Unless, honestly, no matter what Haslam says from here on out, or Stefanski, or Barry, or DePodesta, nothing that they say matters until and unless we see victories.
Yeah.
It's really a show me, don't tell me situation. You, as a media member, as media members, we have to do our jobs. We have to listen to what they say. We have to report on what they say and comment on what they say. But the reality is they can't sell us on anything, given the track record of the Haslam ownership. They can't sell us on anything until they win games.
And then what you don't want to hear is if they get lucky or it works, then they'll say, see, we told you so. You guys jumped off the wagon.
Listen, Les, I don't care. If they win and they want to gloat and they want to say, see, I told you so, and they want to mock those of us who are maybe critical, fine. I'll take my lumps. As long as they're winning, they can gloat till the cows come home.
You can't go 1-31 and say, hey, stick with us, we'll get it right. If they get it right, fine. So
they have to expect a steady diet of cynicism along the way until they win consistently.
Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the last 6 months? People are winning in record numbers, and winning is happening all over the state. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. Facebook is where you can find us, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. New content posts each and every day. We've got a good question. We'll show you the responses a little bit later. Dennis-Manoloff with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
It's the biggest party for the biggest game at Churchill's Bourbon and Brew at Presque Isle Downs and Casino. Watch the game on our big screens. Enjoy our $20 all-you-can-eat tailgate buffet and win on giveaways throughout the game. Plus, we've got Bet America swag beginning at 10 a.m. when you make a wager on the big game. Make your reservations today at 814-866-8353. Presque Isle Downs and Casino. Winning any way you look at it.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This portion of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. Let's check out birthdays. Bill Nelson, you ever see tape of him? He couldn't move. He could not. That's almost like he's moving in that picture. He had the worst knees of anybody in the history of the game. Nick Duff was born in 1947 on this date. Andre Reed, Aeneas Williams, a Hall of Famer, Mark Gasol, and Jose Abreu, all born on the 29th of January. 216-575-0403. Here it is, not even February, and there's some trade rumors out there on Odell Beckham, which is interesting because you didn't have a general manager till a day or two ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected, though. I mean, Beckham comes off of a so-so season by his standards.
Right.
Issues, abound.
You want to take a look at some scenarios people are talking about around the NFL? Let's check it out. Beckham trade scenario from Bleacher Report. The Raiders would receive Odell Beckham Jr. and the Browns receive a first-round pick as well as Terrell Williams.
Sign me up for that yesterday. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me?
27 years old, 5 seasons in the NFL, 42 receptions in 2019 in 14 games, 6 touchdowns. Missed 2 games last season with a foot injury, which doesn't seem too serious. Let's continue on, see what's... There's another possibility. Here we go. Now, Bleacher Report also makes this one up. It's to the Eagles, and with Andrew Berry here from the Eagles, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be
And
happening.
obviously lesser rounds.
Sure,
because
second-
I think the Raiders would be crazy to make that trade. The
Okay,
first one
second
was
and
put
third
up.
round pick, and Alshon Jeffrey in that one. Jeffrey with the Eagles, 29 years old, 8 NFL seasons, 43 catches last year. And there you see it now. Now this one should be concerning. Recovering from Lisfranc surgery, that's the serious foot injury. And that was in December, and it's a 9-month recovery. Well, 9 months takes you into September.
Right.
That's not a good deal.
And meanwhile, Beckham recovering from core surgery, which is nowhere near 9 months.
Right.
But you still have to, if you're another team, you're waiting to see how Beckham's going to come out of the core
Correct.
surgery.
All right, let's continue on. One more Beckham scenario here from sportsnation.com. The Cowboys would receive Odell Beckham Jr., and the Browns would get a 2020 third-round pick and Michael Gallup.
Sign me up for that. I
Get
like
on your
Gallup.
horse and get Gallup.
I like him.
We'll take a poll
Look
and
at
see
those
if you want
numbers.
Gallup.
I think Dallas would be foolish to get rid of Gallup,
66
let alone
catches,
a
6
pick on
touchdowns.
top of it.
He also missed a couple of games due to knee surgery. There's a theme here, man.
Well, I mean, listen, that's not a bad deal at all. The first and third scenarios, if I'm the Browns, I get on the phone as fast as I possibly can and unload Beckham, because I don't think Beckham is going to work with this analytics crowd or whatnot, and especially a new head coach, a guy who's never been a head coach before. We saw what happened. The first-year NFL head coach who tried to handle Beckham, at least in Cleveland, because I know he probably had one in New York.
Sure.
But
How about
I
Freddie
just don't
Kitchen latching onto the New York Giants?
Good for him.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree with
and
that.
he still gets paid the
He gets-
difference with Haslam's
Right.
money versus what he would make with the Giants. So
I haven't talked to you since the Kareem Hunt situation. What are your thoughts then, and as it's now continued on throughout the week?
I'm very disappointed in Kareem. I spent most of my radio show the other night on TAM talking about it. You just can't put yourself in these positions. Kareem, you can't do this, okay? You're not just another player who thinks he can go into the offseason and just do whatever he wants to do.
And
You
now-
are on a zero-tolerance policy as far as we know.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, the NFL, we don't know that much about what it is or what the punishment is and what's the next step if it happens again. It clearly could be. Now, this wasn't as serious as it could have been, but clearly could be facing the end of his career.
Well, yeah, and he's walking a fine line between, I said this on the air, potentially tens of millions of dollars and nothing. He's walking a very fine line, and here's the problem with the traffic stop. When the officer, not once but twice, addresses whether or not he would fail the test, and the second time he gives a definitive answer, yes, I would. To me, if you're the NFL and you just got done suspending this guy 8 games for conduct detrimental to the league, which included punching and kicking a woman, then he is on zero tolerance as far as I'm concerned, right? You're the NFL and you listen to that audio and you hear him say, I would fail the test if the NFL were administering it now. And then he doubles down on ridiculous and says, yeah, I would fail it. It's the off season. Sorry, I was having a good time.
That's the wrong answer.
Think about this. The NFL, Les, if you say during the season, if you get up at the podium talking to reporters and you say after a game, the NFL stinks, the officials stink, we got robbed, what happens to you? The NFL comes down on you, right?
Sure.
What makes you think the NFL is not going to hear that quote and go, we got a problem with that?
Yeah.
I mean, just because he wasn't charged with anything beyond speeding doesn't mean the NFL can't listen to that audio and go, no, you don't do that.
How about the Josh Gordon thing? And he said, well, on the flight out to Vegas, you say, well, the season's over. Well, no, not when you're under suspension.
No, not for you, Kareem. I mean, you don't have these special set of you do have a special set of circumstances. You can't afford to do something that maybe one of your non-suspended colleagues does.
And
no, I
by
think
the
it was
way,
a disastrous traffic
Yeah.
stop. And by the way, I'm tired of the apologists list. Oh, all he got hit for was speeding. All he got.
Cop
He
did him a heck of a
was
favor.
very fortunate that that's all he got.
He was
And-
very fortunate that police person was a Browns fan.
Right, and the stuff was seized for evidence if they want to pursue. It doesn't sound like they will, at least on the marijuana part, because there wasn't enough. But at the very least, Kareem, if I'm going to believe everything you said, that it's everybody else's fault. You didn't have anything to do with any of the stuff in the car. At the very least, don't get into the car in the first place. If it smells like marijuana, if there's traces of marijuana, if you have an unsealed vodka bottle in a backpack, don't get into that vehicle.
Well, the other thing, he bemoans the fact that he should have been in the Super Bowl. Yeah, you should have been in the Super Bowl.
Because of you.
Keep your nose clean, you'd have been there.
Right, you're the one who did this to yourself. I mean, what are we supposed to, is a policeman supposed to have a sympathetic ear? Oh, yeah, you got wronged in Kansas City. No, you were the one that brought it on yourself.
You have a problem with the policeman, the way he handled it?
I would never question law enforcement along those lines. I mean, certainly when there's lethal force involved, you can ask questions and be upset about certain situations. I get that. But in this case, I have no idea what the officer is allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do. I know his life's on the line every day he puts the uniform on.
Yep.
So I'm just saying Kareem Hunt was fortunate that he had a sympathetic ear.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-levine@gmail.com. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, with us. Dan Lobby from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer will be here tomorrow. B.A. Brian Anderson's going to be here on Monday.
Love B.A.
Can't wait to hear his thoughts on
Catching him
Kansas
before
City.
he goes to spring training. Right?
Our last shot to get him. So that'll be Monday night from 6 until 7, of course. Northeast Factory Direct, if you're looking for cabinets, they've got them. Best around. They'll design it for you. They'll do everything, and you're going to pay about, less than 50% of what you're going to pay elsewhere. That's the 4 great locations, which include the northeastfactorydirect.com location, as well as West 140th Street on the west side. You, of course, have Lakeland Boulevard, the old B&B appliance store, and Freeway Boulevard in Macedonia. And check it out. Alex has been doing it for 20 years. Hard to believe what a success story he is. Started with one little piece of furniture in his garage in Lakewood, and look what he's turned it into. 4 great locations when you include the great website. Check it out, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a minute. D-Man, I know you've been picking winners lately. Big-time winners for Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. We're going to throw some prop bets at you, too.
There we go. Can't wait.
We'll do that and more when we get back. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on Cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Naturestone.
Just because I'm not $1 million price doesn't mean I'm worthless. We middle prices get zero respect. We're worth hundreds, even thousands. I mean, I'm a handsome bag of money. And there's $110 million worth of us in the Ohio Lottery Cash Celebration scratch-off alone. Plus, the odds of winning are off the chart. 1 in 3.
Play the $30 cash celebration for a chance to win up to $1 million.
You see?
Oh, and lots of prizes between $100 and $1,000.
Everybody wants $1 million. Would $500 be so bad? Come on.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
D-Man, it's time for a How Come Quickie. How come if a product at a grocery store is new and improved, people still tell customers to buy the old one?
I'm coming up with a How Come Quickie, given the grocery store prompt.
Yeah.
How come cereals say that a select cereal is great for vitamin D? And then in the fine print, it tells you, as long as you put milk on it. It's amazing how many cereals take credit for being a good source of vitamin D. And you're going, vitamin D in cereal? How is that possible? And you get your magnifying glass out, and it says you got to have the half a cup of milk to go with it.
Somebody sent in a quickie. Somebody sent in a quickie the other night. It said, if it's 2% milk, what's the other 98%?
That's a phenomenal outcome.
Bud Shaw and I came up with one about potato chips. How come they even bother to put nutritional information on a bag of potato chips? Why bother?
Yeah.
You know what you're eating.
Yeah, exactly. And Les, by the way, I think if you had a 4-hour show and you started the show on radio with nothing, or TV, if you had a 4-hour TV show, and you did nothing but How Come Quickies, you could fill the 4 hours.
There's no question.
It's unbelievable how many people call you. I'm so jealous because I would love your caller volume.
It's the same guy calling 4 times.
No, it's not. I've listened to your How Come Quickie segments, and you get everybody from anywhere
amazing about
and
it?
they have different quickies. Yeah. It's just amazing.
You know what's amazing about it? I'm not there. I don't do a show Monday through Friday. I'm not. I'm there occasionally. They don't promote it that we'll do quickies, and then I show up and say, okay, How Come Quickies? Boom, boom, boom.
There they go. Christmas tree.
It's like they're on hold waiting for me to show up at work. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-leslevine@gmail.com. For purposes of the Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com, should we give your pick for the Super Bowl or let people wait till Sunday? We'll let them wait till Sunday. But prop bets, you can.
Part of the reason is I haven't really made up my mind yet. This is one of the first Super Bowl, or one of the only Super Bowls over the last 20 years for me where I wake up one day and it's the Chiefs. Yeah. I wake up the next day, it's the Niners.
Well, that's why the spot's so close.
It changes hour to hour. I see Mahomes dominate, then I see the Niners defense dominate Mahomes. It's a fascinating back and forth. That's why, as you say, the spread is so tight.
All right, let's take a look at some prop bets here.
I love prop bets.
Whoever invented prop bets should be in the Hall of Fame.
It's the cottage industry now.
Yeah. All right, so how long will it take Demi Lovato to sing the national anthem? Over 2 minutes, under 2 minutes?
Don't quote me or my wife, because I'm quoting my wife. She's the musical expert in the household, the lovely Denise. She tells me, and don't go to the betting windows with this either. This is entertainment purposes only. She says Lovato's going over 2 minutes. And I mean, obviously, that she's favored to go over 2, but she's convinced she's going over 2.
There's got to be somewhere on the internet with her singing the national anthem. You could probably figure it out that way.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl is a whole different deal. And I mean, I think you could decide in the first 5 seconds when they start. You could figure out real quickly, or let's say 10 seconds.
Right.
You could figure out, are they going to stretch these things out, these syllables?
They're on the way. They're on a pace.
Yes.
All right, the TV tape, and I don't even know what that is. John, what does that mean? Anybody have any idea? Oh, okay. So apparently they tape it for sound purposes and all that stuff. That tape was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So to go under, you got to take 15 seconds, 16 seconds off that.
Well, they have a Lovato TV tape?
Is that right, John? They have a Lovato one or just a standard tape? Oh, generic. Yeah. Oh, okay. Bringing somebody off the street just to do the national
I'll say
anthem
this.
is 215.
I've been betting Monopoly money, just play money with my buddies 4 years on the national anthem at the Super Bowl, and I'm 2-2. I've had 2 overs, 2 unders. I've split each. So I don't know which way she would go, honestly.
Okay. By the way, I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that she's in on the fix, but that's an easy one to fix.
I mean, that's the risk you run with some of these prop bets, especially with the announcers. When there's how many times are the announcers going to mention X's name?
Yeah, let's find out. Let's find out some more prop bets and see what we have here. Which coach will be mentioned first, Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan?
I'm going to say they're going to defer to the Andy Reid legacy, the Andy Reid resume. They'll start with Reid, and they'll say the only thing missing from his Hall of Fame career is a Super Bowl ring. And the guy who's going to try to deny him this time is the young whippersnapper Shanahan.
Right.
That's how I think they're going to play it.
If you actually think you can figure out these prop bets, that's the way to do it. Let's see what else we have here. Will Joe Buck or Troy Aikman say Patriots sometime during the game? Of course they're going to say the Patriots.
There's no question. You have to, because the Patriots were at the last 2 and were the defending champs. So I think that's a guarantee.
All right, if you have some ideas, you want to put some props together, give us a call and we'll see. Will Donald Trump attend the game? I would say no. They have that thing going on in Washington that I think he's concerned with.
Yeah, and it's certainly the favorite to not show up. So I guess I'll go with and that's a heavy favorite to not show up. So I'll go with no.
But I wonder if he'll come on earlier than most presidents come on, because there'll be a Fox deal. I'm just wondering if they would give him closer to game time or away from game time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is one of the most famous prop bets that have
What
come
color
up.
will the liquid be that is poured on the game-winning coach? That would be the Gatorade, and that's fixable too.
It is, but I'm going to say, all right, obviously if it's the Chiefs, it's going to be red. You would think red. But the Niners,
the Niners are sort of red
could
also.
say red too, so I'm going to say red. Why? Gee whiz, there's the favorite.
Have you ever had the blue Gatorade?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
No, it's not bad.
Huh. Okay. All right, what else do we have?
I keep going with favorites, though.
Favorites in the prop bets?
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
I still think the guy who invented prop bets for the Super Bowl is Canton.
Oh, there are so many of them. I mean, really, it started with the basic stuff, not just the national anthem, but in the game, like plus or minus, X number of touchdowns for this quarterback, and now it's kind of just spawned into all kinds of stuff.
We'll tell D-Man he doesn't have to get on this until you read it in the paper on Sunday or online.
Don't hold me to it.
But I won't hold you to it. Super Bowl odds as we stand right now, what do we have? -1, right?
I mean, that's about as
They're not going to let it be that. They got to finish it and got to give them 1.5 points. You can't. If you're Vegas, you can't even give anybody the idea that game's going to be a push.
Right. Listen. San Francisco's defense is legit. The front four is tremendous. We know that. Bosa and the boys. But Mahomes is such a magical player. And you've seen him do so many great things when he's healthy. And even when he's not healthy. But now he's healthy.
Does that 54.5?
If anybody can avoid that four-man rush, it's Mahomes.
Yeah. Do you think that 54.5 is a big number or small number for the over/under?
I've been playing
about
games.
What it should be?
I mean, I'm looking at something 28 to 24, 27, 23, and you're in the 50s there. So that's about right.
All right, there you
But
have
I
it.
can't decide whether it's going to be under or over.
Dave Bacon's going to be at Presque Isle for a show tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, Dave, take me to Presque Isle, buddy.
Wait a minute, is that show Friday or tomorrow or Friday? Friday.
I told Dave if he does, in fact, take me to Presque Isle, I might not emerge.
Might not come back?
I might not.
Will you be back for the Browns' first exhibition game?
I will be walletless and everything. I mean, when I get the opportunity to legally wager something, I think I will. To this point, because Ohio, it's illegal, and I've never been to Vegas, never been to Atlantic City or any of that. When I get the opportunity, I'm pretty sure I'll put some coin down. but hopefully it'll be a limited
Okay,
amount.
I sense a little problem potentially happening, so be careful out there.
Yeah, I'll hand you and Dave my wallet, my credit card,
Well, I
and
wouldn't
whatever
suggest you
bills are
doing
in
that.
my wallet. But listen, I want to say this, though.
Yep.
It's going to come to Ohio. I've mentioned this on
Yes.
shows before. It's going to be legalized in Ohio. Ohio's typically late to the party on these types of things. My cautionary tale is 5 years of doing the games, entertainment purposes only for the plain dealer,
Right.
and all NFL games. I'm telling you out there, John, Joe, Jane, Jill, whoever you are, if you think that this is going to be your second industry or your second job, or you're going to make a side cash gambling, good luck with that. I would discourage it. It is so much harder than you think it is.
Yeah, when it's real money.
As Nick Camino, our buddy Nick Camino has said, everybody's an expert until you put their name to it. When you have to make it official and you actually have to write a post and it says this is what I picked on every game.
Yeah, it's there.
Because everybody says, oh, I had that game.
Yeah.
Well, you did? Really?
Show me.
Where? Show it to me.
Well, you can explore your interests and find a program that puts you on a path to a bright future at Tri-C, which offers 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. Tri-C. Coming up, our first impressions in person of Zion-Williamson. Did you get a good look at him last night?
A little bit on TV.
All right, we'll talk about that and more when we get back. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues. We're more than halfway through exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Still listening in on Chris Sims.
I can't get enough of Sims. Just laying waste to Stefanski as the Browns hire.
This date in sports history, January 29th, what year was it?
36.
1936, right. We had one area that said 37, but I think it is 36. First members of the Baseball Hall of Fame were named, and the five original ones, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Hannes Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Big Train Johnson.
Yeah, the famous photo, I don't think Cobb was there, or one of them wasn't there. Was it Big Train, or one of them didn't make it, was late, or something like that? But
don't know that. My favorite Ty Cobb story is when he was involved in a potential murder situation where a Cleveland elevator operator was murdered. And at that time, Cobb, playing with the Tigers, had to go to Pittsburgh for a World Series, I believe, and went through Niagara Falls instead of going through Ohio.
Wow, I did not know that.
I think that's as close to the truth.
I
as
remember
the
Cobb story where they came into Cleveland for the Addie Joss benefit,
right?
And Cobb wore the Indians uniform because his Detroit uniform was lost or something, so he wound up. That's a famous photo of all those stars that were there for the Joss benefit after he died.
Do you think he actually went from first to third without going to second base on an infield hit? Supposedly, he's on first base. And they didn't have 4 umpires in those days. They might have had 2 in games. There's a ground ball in the hole, and he just cuts across the pitcher's mound.
I wouldn't put anything past Cobb.
Dirtiest player ever, I think. I mean, statutes of limitations are up. I can say anything I want about
the great. You remember George the Bull Yulee?
The name,
the legendary Bull.
Yeah.
We went to see him as parishioners at our church. Our pastor knew him because he had gone to our church. So pastor took the youth group to see George Yulee when he was living in Bay Village. And we got to talk to him about his days as a pitcher, and he said that, Cobb hated him because he couldn't handle his slider. Well, Yulee was
left-handed.
Yulee is regarded, right-handed, but Yulee's regarded as like the godfather of the slider. And so when Yulee started throwing that pitch to Cobb couldn't handle it, and Cobb got so angry with Yulee that he wanted to fight him under the stands. And Yulee was like, "Come on out, let's go.
Let's go, get it on."
Because the bull, the bull was the bull for a reason.
Yeah,
he was a big man.
Give me some.
Yeah.
Let's go to Fullerton, California. Say hi to Teresa. Hello, Teresa.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to let you know, my husband, I've been married to him for close to 38 years. It is his birthday today. He's 67.
Happy birthday.
He has been a devoted Dodger fan for all his life, as far as I could remember. When we watched the 2017 World Series, and I saw an awesome pitcher on the mound for the Dodgers, I said to myself, this is rigged. Somehow it was rigged. And I saw his face was completely glum. He knew that something was going on. And I want to let you know that what the Astros have done has removed the face and integrity of the game itself.
Wow.
It has actually been tarnished.
I heard the other day Chris Rose
You
from
have a
MLB.
sympathetic ear for me, Teresa.
Yeah, Chris Rose, who's a Cleveland guy, said he talked to several Dodgers. Said they lost both years, right? They lost to Boston and to
17
to
the Astros, 18 the Red Sox.
Right.
They're still investigating the Red Sox.
And so Chris asked these players. He didn't say which players they were. Basically, would you like to have the title taken away? Just taken off the record. And to a man, what the Dodger players said apparently was that, no, the whole purpose of winning, the thrill of the victory, is jumping on each other on the pitcher's mound and the parade the next day and all that other stuff. And they might have gotten the trophy back, but they weren't going to get the excitement level and the feelings they were supposed to get. So just handing it to them wouldn't be a right idea either.
Well, my feeling is this. For me, it's just scrap metal, okay? It's a loser trophy. If it's anything, they should put it back at the MLB office and just leave it there. No one won. It's scrap metal. I mean, you can use it for batting practice. Who knows? Who cares? All I know, it's worthless. And the Dodgers don't want it.
No.
The Yankees don't want it for 2019. I mean, who wants that? I mean, well, of course, the Astros didn't win 2019.
And thank God for that, Teresa, by the way.
2017, my numbers are all whacked up. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying is that we don't want it. We don't want that used trophy, the loser trophy. I think when Altuve saying that, don't touch me, I've got, I mean, I'm shy, really, and I'm just very upset how everything is handled. I called up the commissioner's office, and they said they're going to let them keep it, and it was very upsetting because, it's not the sponsors that are ringing the register for themselves. It's the consumers. And if the consumers' money is not flowing through the sports, you don't have baseball. You don't have any sport.
No,
and
Teresa,
it's a bookie game now. It's not a sport of skill. It's a sport of cheat.
Yeah.
It's a bookie game. It's a betting game. So you don't even need humans to
Well,
go ahead and bet on a game now.
you got Bill Belichick doing it in football.
It's very sad. It's a sad day.
All right, Teresa, let me ask, first of all, before I forget, say happy birthday to your husband. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
But the other thing is, do you have some tie to Cleveland here that you're watching us, or did you just find us somewhere along the line?
I found it through there was heads up on YouTube, so they could go watch Cleveland, because there was some interest of me just berating the Astros, rightfully speaking, of course. I thought, wow, Altuve, little Bregman, these little short stacks, they're making a lot of play. I also want to let you know that Bregman had a fractured bone on his right arm that they found, January 2019. They had to operate on his right arm. Within a few short months, his stats went up. And I was thinking, how is that possible? How is that possible after a post-operative surgery and his stats go up? And I was thinking, how is that possible?
Well, maybe they had surgery on the buzzer.
On the Well, it was the right arm. They found a fractured bone. They had to go in there and correct it,
He had a fractured buzzer.
That was in January of 2019.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Teresa, go ahead.
Teresa, listen, until the Bregman stuff, I was with you every step of the way. You are absolutely right to be in full grind. I've been the same way. I think the Dodgers were wronged in every possible way. And it's easy for us on the outside to tell the Dodgers to get over it, but we're not Clayton Kershaw, for example, whose legacy, in a lot of people's eyes, depends on him winning a World Series ring. He hasn't done it yet. Could he have won it in 2017? I'll say yes, if the Astros weren't stealing the signs on him.
That's true. That's true. But would you want to get a used-up trophy? I agree. I get what you're saying. But after everything was said and done, I even talked to the Attorney General's office. They said it's not a crime. It's not a crime. I go, it is a crime if the consumers are putting down the tickets to watch the World Series.
And they think the game's on the level.
To buy the merchandise. You're going to cheat them on a game of cheaters and not doing something that all these 30 teams have worked all year to get to this point, and only a few two get to compete, and they're working on pain. They're working on pain. At that moment, they're working on pain over pain, and they're just complete warriors. And here comes the Astros to go ahead and cheat.
All right, Teresa, we got
to. There's going to be an uproar every time they come to play. There's going to be a lot of angry tailgaters and a lot of angry people because they have cheated the game of baseball. And I appreciate that I get to have a little powwow with you guys.
You got it. Anytime. Call us anytime. We appreciate it very much.
That was intense. That was a off-the-charts intensity. And if you're a Dodgers fan like she is and her husband, don't blame me one bit.
I don't want to get on her call. Well, she called me. I was going to say the Attorney General. She called the baseball commissioner.
You did hear about whether there's going to be a class action lawsuit potentially because, in the eyes of the law, was the game on the level? But we'll see.
That's probably not going to happen. You got about 30 seconds. Tell me what you saw in Zion-Williamson last night.
I saw a big man who can move.
Yeah. Can he move for 80 games?
He's got a ton of potential. You would think he'd have to shed some, but maybe that's his body type, but a very exciting player.
There you go. First 4 games of his career. He played last night against the Cavaliers. I don't know if he can, the rebounding and running and jumping as often as you're going to have to do it on back-to-back games. I don't know. It's going to be tough, but good luck to him. He's got every talent level, or every aspect of the game. He's got it. That's no question about that. Northeast Factory Direct. They've got it too. They've got 3 locations plus the great website. You're going to want to check that out before you step out the door to go to one of those 3 other locations, east, west, and south. NortheastFactoryDirect.com. Whether it's hot tubs, whether it's cabinets, you name it, they've got it. And you're going to pay half or less than you're going to pay at the big box stores. Sokolowski's University Inn. I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm there every Thursday just about. And if you want to stop by, please do that. It's open 11 to 3, Monday through Friday, Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. The winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, one of 5 in the country, get that each and every year. Dennis-Manoloff and I return in a moment, thanks to Teresa from Fullerton, California. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
It's the biggest party for the biggest game at Churchill's Bourbon and Brew at Presque Isle Downs and Casino. Watch the game on our big screens. Enjoy our $20 all-you-can-eat tailgate buffet and win on giveaways throughout the game. Plus, we've got Bet America swag beginning at 10 a.m. when you make a wager on the big game. Make your reservations today at 814-866-8353. Presque Isle Downs and Casino. Winning any way you look at it.
Let's take a look at this date in Les-Levine history. 1962, first class of the Hall of Fame wiffle ball players was announced at Chavez-Levine. The class included Stu Levine, Bill Levine, and Les Levine. Would you be able to guess which one was me if you didn't see the circle there? I'll give you a hint. I'm the one in the middle.
Not necessarily. The older one looks like
the older one is the real ball player in the group. No question about that. All right, so we got a couple of questions here. A Facebook question of the day and the responses. Let's go to it. Here's today's question. Should the NBA trade the logo, Jerry West, for Kobe Bryant? Or is it too soon to even talk about it?
Too soon. Leave Jerry West as the logo.
Well, let's go through a couple of these responses. I think most of them agree that it's too soon. Should Kobe take over the logo? Dave Shoup says no. Glenn Berger, the Kobe death is tragic. That said, people have a tendency to overreact upon a tragic loss. Fans wanted to induct Thurman Munson into the Hall of Fame after his tragedy in 1979. Gary Gray says no. Nobody can replace the logo just because, well, it doesn't make him an American hero just because of the tragic ending. Rick May, Jerry West is the iconic logo. Leave it as it is. Will we change the logo again when other people pass on? Hopefully that won't happen for a long time. It's a tough call. I'd like to find something else you could do with Kobe. I thought the 24-second thing was terrific.
Yes, it was. And I think the All-Star game when they're going to go 24s and 8s, almost certainly. So, yeah, that makes sense. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and check out some How Come Quickies. When we get back, Dennis-Manoloff is with us. We'll have Dan Lobby tomorrow from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. Voicemail of Truth and Reason. You want to leave us a message, call anytime at that number, 216-200-6650. We'll use the better messages on a future show coming up. You, of course, can see us live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time on cleveland.com, and you can archive us throughout the rest of the days and weeks, also through cleveland.com. We'll take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Dan Lobby from cleveland.com. He's the one on the left, right?
Yes.
Anyway, that's tomorrow. Again, we do it live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. All right, time for some How Come Quickies. D-Man's going to grade them. First thing here, Mike from Stowe. This is a good effort, but I can't use them. I appreciate you sending them in, but they're close. They're too close to the edge for my thoughts. We're going to just leave them alone. I don't even want to get near that edge, D-Man. But I do want to get to John and Ashtabula. How come a long, hard winter, a tree feels relieved every spring?
6.
6. How come the bank teller pushed me when I asked her to check my balance?
8.5.
8.5 is about right. Toledo Mike comes strong. How come my mechanic couldn't fix my brakes, so he just made my horn louder? Come on, get out of the way.
Help me. Oh.
It's good.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
If you make the horn louder, it's better than having brakes.
8.5.
8.5. Excellent. Get to this in a minute. They're messing with me. They're putting glue on these now. All right, so that one was how come my mechanic couldn't fix my brakes, so he made my horn louder. Mr. Gullible comes in. Strong, by the way. How come when two cheese trucks collided, there was debris everywhere? Brie would be cheese.
I feel dumb
You
on
feel
this set
dumb
tonight.
All right, here.
7.
7. You'll get this one. How come when I was a salesman, I was so independent that I took orders from no one?
9.
Come back on that one. John Patrick got close to the wire, but I got it in just in time. How come a parking space makes more per hour than I do?
9.5.
9.5. That's about as close to 10
That might
as
be
you
a
can
10
get.
by the end of the show.
Could be.
That was really good.
That was excellent.
Yeah, that was a good batch. And
But I have the same theory
is
you
brie
do.
cheese? Why
Brie,
how am I supposed to know
Brie.
that?
Oh, come on.
B-R-I-E is cheese?
Brie.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Not everybody can have a Northwestern education.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure Northwestern's thrilled that I don't know what brie means. Sorry, guys. That wasn't in the curricula.
No, well, wait a minute. You went to Northwestern, but what is your? That's what the diploma said. What did the what grade point average did you have? Pretty good.
I mean, I was proud of it. 3.51. I mean,
that ain't brie.
It's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's not phenomenal, but it's decent. I think.
It's more than decent. All right, you got anything about 30 seconds worth of stuff? Chris Sims come up with anything?
I mean, Sims.
You'll listen to him on the way home, right?
And I know people are going to say, who's Chris Sims? You know, what do we care? But the guy, I mean, he ripped into Stefanski, and he makes points. Like, number one, Kubiak was the one being praised by Zimmer, not Stefanski in the second half of the year.
They started out poorly in the beginning.
And the other one that really has gnawed at me, but you can't really say anything, the loser of that game was going to be the head coach of the Browns. Saleh handles Stefanski's offense,
Right.
and the reward for Stefanski is, or the punishment for Stefanski is, Browns head coach.
Well, just quickly,
The divisional round game.
DePodesta,
Yes.
for some reason really had his designs on Stefanski from last year.
Yes.
Okay, then you had the first 3-4 games of the season where he didn't do so well, and apparently his interest was still piqued because of that. He was still DePodesta's favorite guy going in.
It wouldn't surprise me, and we will never get this publicly. Wouldn't surprise me if every week during the season, other than the Baltimore week and the Bills week and maybe the Steelers week, last year, DePodesta. I told you, Jimmy. I told you, Jimmy. I told you, Jimmy.
The negative
Should have been
on
Stefanski.
Freddie, yeah.
I'm sure he was in Haslam's ear all year.
Yeah, probably so. All right, great job by the D-man, Dennis-Manoloff. When are you on 1100 again? Friday
Tomorrow
night?
night late to follow the Tito's Nightcap recap on Cavs, and then Friday, big game roundtable, Friday night live.
Excellent. That's the D-man, Dennis-Manoloff on 1100 WTAM. I'll see you tomorrow night. Dan Lobby joins us. Don't forget Brian Anderson. He'll be here on Monday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.